guys, this is Crystal from Once Upon a Time Papery, and today what I decided to do was show you a complete flip through of one of my completed story journals. They're also called junk journals. I call them story journals in my shop, just so that, you know, I get a lot of questions because people are intrigued by it, but they're not quite sure what to do with it. So I thought this should help. So on the front here, I have this ratty little string, and it is actually from my son's blankie. And I have a ton of pictures with him with it, but just having it here where I can touch it and play with it, and those memories come back, and I love it. So I have a book board, an upcycled book I used as the cover. I always do that to make sure that it will last you, because these are your memories you're putting in there. So I want it to be high quality. And I stenciled it with stars to give it that twinkle, twinkle little star theme. Inside, I have a library pocket, and this is so that you can write your first entry and your last entry. So I don't tend to journal daily or always in order, and so this always just gives me, you know, an overarch so I can kind of know what the general time frame was. There we go, that's what I meant. That slides in there, and then it starts off with this clear acetate, which I loved, and so I thought a photo behind it was perfect. And this is what you could do with some of the scrapbook pages that are in there. There was this beautiful pink flowers, and I just layered a doily, and then some little circle embellishments and a tag, and this photo of me and my little guy. So all the embellishments that I paper clip in or put in the pockets is so that you have everything you need to embellish the pages and get started on your creative journaling. And then on this side, this page was actually a pocket page. And what I ended up doing is I just glued the photo onto the pocket so that I could slip the tag right behind it, and that has journaling on it, and see, it slips right into the pocket there. And then since I am a major journaler, I have this additional page to write on, and I include lots of lined pages throughout because, you know, I want it to be that you can truly capture this story and not feel limited to just the tag. Here's another little picture of my guy learning to ride a bike. And this is why I love junk journaling. I used to be a die-hard scrapbooker. I have tons of albums, but I became overwhelmed with the process because something about scrapbooking makes it feel like it has to be this perfect art form. Like, it just feels pressured because you have to be organized with your photos and everything like that. And I'm just not great at that. I'm quirky. My mind tends to be all over the place, and I decided that, you know, once I seen some videos on junk journaling, I'm like, oh, this would fit me perfectly. So why I said all that was I had this book page included in here, and as soon as I seen that picture, I remember that it reminded me of this picture that I had taken of him on his bike. And so that's the story I wrote. And so, you know, the junk journals are meant to elicit memories from you. And then that way you're writing the random stories of your life that you would probably forget because maybe they're not big moments, but, you know, it's one of those crazy things, right? The things that don't feel big at the time really capture real life. And I felt like that was kind of missing a little bit from my scrapbook. Was I had all these beautiful moments, but it didn't capture all the little things. And so for some reason in this format, I feel more free to just scribble down little quotes or just little thoughts when they occur to me, because everything doesn't have to be perfect. It can just flow. I can find a little place to just write down a little story, even if there isn't a photo to go with it. And so there's just a lot of freedom in it. I call it stress-free scrapbooking, because that's what it feels like to me. Okay, so like this is a little coupon from one of those coupon books, and it was about hugs. So I just wrote about how my boys are both very lovable and I get tons of hugs all the time. And then this is another page that I stuck a photo on. It had this tag paper clipped in. And so I glued my photo down on 3 sides so that I could journal and tuck that behind a photo of me, so that I'm actually present in my story. More journaling. This is a little flashcard. I love how it's like points to the journaling. And then this is a pocket, and so I stuffed it full of these little pictures of just this random scavenger hunt I had made for the boys. And that's what I love. Like, I don't have to worry about designing a page. I could just tuck these in a pocket, and you know, it's perfect. It makes it very interactive and engaging and brings a smile to my face. So that's what matters. Okay, this page was actually a double pocket, but what I ended up doing was I glued this onto the pockets and making a big pocket. And then inside, I have one of these little handprints, my littlest guy. It was this huge flower he made for me in preschool. It started to come apart, so I just pulled one off and tucked it in there. And then this way I can always remember how little his hand was. And see, there's something about being able to hold it in your hand, or in a scrapbook, like it would be stuck behind the plastic. So I love it. And then I just added 2 more of these little journaling cards. They're all about our summer adventures. So just tons and tons of little stories. I mean, so much can fit in here. It's crazy. This page is all about a conversation I had with my friend, and she was writing about how me and my boys, how she loves our relationship. And that meant a lot to me, because, you know, sometimes it can be a struggle being a boy mom. So I wrote that down because that would definitely be something I would forget. Another little picture layered over top of doily, and then like I used a big circle back here and a little word tag and a smaller one. And then this is a flip page of one of my beloved Sesame Street from when I was little, with a journaling tucked inside. And I could easily glue it down. I just put it like that. I may add more later. Who knows? That's the nice thing too. Like, this is pretty much complete, but if I wanted to, I could always add more, because, you know, it doesn't ever have to be done. I can always tuck more in the pockets and more to the pages. It can be as embellished as you want. This was another pocket page, but I didn't need the pocket as much as I needed room for photos. So I just stuck it right on top, and it gives it that little pop of color, and just layered a bunch of little embellishments there. So again, all those embellishments I include, they're usually paper clipped in or stuffed in the envelopes, or so that you have everything you need to decorate pages. And of course, you can add anything else you want as well. I have some more little photos of our nature walks tucked inside of this book page. And I added a little bingo card just because I love the layered look. More pages with photos attached and some layering. Here's another page that was a pocket page. I didn't have anything to add. I think I might add some photos in there, but I really wanted to write down this little conversation between me and my guy, and I started running out of journaling room. So I put it right there, and later I'll, you know, add some more things. This was an envelope I made out of a book page because I love that sweet illustration. It's why I'm obsessed with children's books, is because the nostalgic essence of these of these pages. It just warms my heart. And inside, I have this beautiful little drawing. Well, okay, beautiful to me. He had this habit of every time he said he loved me, he's like, "Oh, I'm going to make you a heart." And so I love that because it's like, it's how he showed me how much he loved me, through art. You could tell he's my kid. So that tucks right in there. And I always do a little divot so that you know it's a pocket. Here's another page that was a pocket page. And I just attached the photo to the pocket and put a frame over top it with some embellishments. And then a journaling card slides right behind it. This is a little paint sample. We painted our bathroom. And this is one of those pieces of ephemera that would have just got thrown in a box somewhere and probably thrown away. Because for some reason, in my scrapbook, I had a hard time using them. Ephemera is not always pretty, but it has so many memories in it. So this way, I could just attach it with a couple paper clips, and it's a real life feel to it, which I love. And then here was this crazy little book page of one of those really old-fashioned activity books, and all I did was paper clip a coloring that my son did. And this is why I kept this. Look at that. It took a whole entire page for him to write his name. Like, I love it. I love it. And, you know, it so captures him at 5. And that's what you want, you know. That's why we take photos and, you know, post things, because we want to remember, and to be able to have something that you can just sit down in a chair and flip through and touch. It elicits so many memories and so many feelings, and that is what I'm after. Here's another photo of my 2 boys with some layered embellishments on top. And it doesn't take much to decorate the page, which I love. You know, I could do it in 5 minutes, where I don't even want to tell you how long it used to take me to scrapbook a page. This page was a journaling page, but at the time I made this little envelope and I wanted to stick it somewhere. So I decided to just stick it right on this page, and it has a little journaling tag inside. And then I just glued it on 3 sides so that I could put a tag behind it with more journaling. And then I could even journal here if I wanted to as well. And again, it could be like a little quote, you know, the word of the year, like anything. It's no pressure, which is what I love. Here is a music page that I turned into a big pocket, so that I could stuff it full of this huge page that was from my older son's journaling, his little journal in school. And he wrote about his mama, so I had to keep that. Another photo page, more journaling. This came from the Pickles bus. I don't know if you guys remember that. My mom found it for me because she knew how much I loved it, and I had been searching for it because I used to spend hours pulling out the cards and doing the activities and reading the stories, and every letter had a little character with it. And I ended up just using it as like a little space to put embellishments. And this, again, is what I love. These journals are so inspiring because I seen this pop of green and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. And I went through my photos and I found this photo of our pear tree. And we had just moved to the country in this past year. And so I was so super excited to see these teeny tiny little pears growing on our tree in our backyard. So, this little piece of ephemera elicited this story, which I might have not recorded otherwise. So you just never know where the pieces of ephemera include will take you. But like, that's how our brain works. We associate things. And so I feel like it brings about really authentic stories. So this is where I wrote all about that. This is an envelope I created from a really old book, and it started to tear, so I just used this awesome washi tape to give it some bling. And then inside, I included these photos of my son's artwork. You know, this is a great way to do it when they bring home those huge projects that there's no way of including. I might be able to include in here. I could create something with it, but I decided to take pictures of it. And tell me the truth, doesn't he look like the one-eyed, one-horned flying purple people eater? That's what it reminded me of, but that's how he's seen himself, and I just loved it. So those are tucked in there. And then this is another double pocket I made. So this is just, you know, my older son loves Pokemon, and he gave me this card because Togepi's my favorite. And that's what I wrote on the tag. It didn't have to be any bigger than that. And then behind that, I have more artwork. I love keeping artwork from my boys or little things they wrote because it captures this stage of life so well, but it's so hard. You know, a lot of times what you end up doing is you have it on a pile on your desk, on the kitchen table, you move it around, and you usually end up throwing it away because you just don't know what to do with it. Or, you know, you might put it in a box somewhere, but you're not enjoying it. Or this, I can hold everything in my hands and really, you know, see it and feel it. And it just elicits so many memories, and it just makes me feel so good. And that is what I'm after. And then this was just a pocket I made out of Dick and Jane book, and I tucked everything in there with this little tab so you know to pull it out. I just paper clipped it for good measure though. Simply because I put so much in there. And then this is another little envelope I made, again with all his drawings. They capture a 5-year-old's personality when they're first learning to draw, they're first learning to write their name. And I think that, you know, when they become older and they look back and see that, they're going to love it. They're going to get such a kick out of it. I could also glue this down, which I might later, but I decided just to paper clip it for now. And then on the last page was just some tickets that I put in there because this is a favorite of ours, is going to the High School Musicals. And that is it, a full journal full of stories and memories and so much feel-good energy. And, you know, I could put it right on the bookshelf, and it's something beautiful for us to look back from years to come. So I hope that helps you guys, and I'd love for you to come and visit me. I have an Etsy shop, Once Upon a Time Papery. All right, thanks.